Welcome, everyone. I'm Thomas Watson. This is Loaded and Rolling. We are at F3, and it is day 3 at F3, and super excited to be talking about the topic for today is going to be truck parking. But before we dive in, we're going to give a special thanks to our sponsor, and it's the Cox Group. If you don't know who they are, they're a WBE certified asset-based turnkey logistics solutions providing company. They're located all throughout North America with 22 million square feet of distribution space and over 1,000 power units. If you want to check them out, visit them at www.warehouseservices.com for more details. And so now that we got that out of the way, we're going to be talking with Keith Crystal. He's the founder and CEO of Storemytruck. If you folks have not heard about it, there's a very big demand for truck parking. If anyone's been living under a rock, it turns out it is a huge issue and something that Keith has been working on for at least a decade or two. And so we're gonna bring Keith on. Keith, it's a pleasure to have you on. Really excited to talk about it. First off, just tell us about yourself.
Well, we opened our first location back in 2009 when we found out that we noticed truck parking had, there was very few facilities. People were parking on exit ramps. People were parking anywhere in Walmarts and so forth all around the country. And we just felt like there was a huge need.
And I mean, there's such a huge demand, and I think there's something, there's a great story you told me about before you started in 2009. What was the thing that kind of made you think, well, I need to get into this, and there's much more pent-up demand than I've never really thought about?
Well, many years ago, I was a car dealer in Atlanta. We had 15 car dealerships around Atlanta. One of my lots, it was a large, high-volume lot. Next door, there was 3 or 4 acres. We were not using it. We advertised it for RV and boat storage. We filled it up in a short amount of time, but during that time, we got 1 million calls for tractor, trailer, semi, truck parking, and people were looking for a place to park their trucks. And so I went out immediately and started looking for a location, found a location in Marietta, Georgia, went through all of the details, all the grueling time going through city council, getting it approved for zoning, for the type of compaction you needed for truckers to park on your lot. And finally got it approved after just painstakingly application after application, got it all opened up, and we filled that first lot in 2009 in about 90 days. Wow. And from that minute on, I realized I had touched upon something, and I started opening lot after lot. And to today, Storemytruck has 76 locations open. We're opening new ones every single week. We just opened a brand new one in Jacksonville just last week, right by the airport. We just opened another one in Oklahoma City, and we're going to continue to open these about 2 a week, and our goal is to open up to 500 locations, maybe more.
And one thing I like that I don't think a lot of people know about in the truck parking space is the difference between an owner and an arranger. And this is something that I didn't even know about until I got to talk to you beforehand. Tell us about that.
Well, there's all kind of truck parking out there, and some of them are not so nice. Mom and pop stores, they're messy, they're nasty. Some locations are not even zoned or set up for truck parking. What we are is we are an owner-operator. We make sure our locations are correct. They are clean, neat, orderly, very safe, all fenced and lit, different levels of security, but our locations are owner-operated. That means we own these locations, we operate these locations, we touch them, feel them every single day. We make sure they're perfect, where the trucker has a wonderful experience coming in.
And that also goes into, as you're opening new locations, you're looking for assets. And you touched on earlier about the challenges of zoning. For folks who don't understand some of these challenges, just to even make a new spot, you mentioned zoning. Some cities are against truck parking. They have ordinances. What is that like for folks outside of the space that you have to deal with because you're expanding really rapidly, but there's a lot of work that goes into that?
Site preparation is very, very tedious. Municipalities, many of them don't like truck parking. They don't want your truck running in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning, idling while someone's trying to sleep in the neighborhood next door, or a business that's operating 24 hours, or just the look of trucks parked in one lot. They just don't want it. So they make it as difficult as they can, and some municipalities don't even allow truck parking. There's no zoning for it. Many cities in Georgia do not allow truck parking. Macon, for example, just set up their own rule that says you may not park your truck on anything other than a truck lot. So my point is that they make it hard, they make it difficult, but they need it so bad. Their assets are out giving zoning violations for these trucks parked illegally all the time, when really if they would just loosen it up a little bit, it would be much easier for us to open a lot more of these. We are finding the locations that need to be open, and we're dealing with all the municipalities, dealing with all of the city councils, trying to get them open as fast as we can.
So I find a location. This is how do I build this location? Is there a minimum acreage, by the way, if I wanted to get started? Is there like a sweet spot even for how many trucks you want, or is it depending upon how much you can fit in terms of like the city?
Our largest location is 52 acres. The average one that we operate is about 10 acres. But we do have some that are 29, 30, 35 acres. We just bought a piece of property or in the process of buying a property in Adairsville that's 45 acres. So it just all depends on what you find that's zoned correctly.
And this is really cool. Gravel versus paved. When you start thinking about parking, now you're thinking 80,000 pounds of truck, trying to move in and out of these locations. So we found the spot. We want to build it. What do you use to make sure that it's going to have some longevity compared to like an Airbnb style where the mom and pop may have filled with potholes?
So there's all kind of surfaces out there. We try to put down very fine asphalt millings. It's a product that it's not a dusty product. So the trucks come in, they stay clean. Most of our lots are asphalt millings that is pressed like asphalt. The great thing about being in the South, most of our lots in that heat, is asphalt melts to itself and becomes pavement at some point just from sitting there. We also have a lot of paved lots. Our location, Atlanta High Security Truck Parking, which is one of our high security locations, totally paved. A lot of our locations are paved, very well lit, code in, code out on some locations. There's different levels of security that we could talk about later.
Let's dive into the levels of security. I think for a lot of drivers, some of them are on the medians and shoulders. Security is a very big concern. You offer 3 levels. Let's dive into each of those.
So most truck parking companies try their best to just have a good, safe place. Some of them don't even have fencing. Every one of my locations has a fence with a gate. That's the first thing. Now, the gates are code in and code out, which means they get a code when they order their truck parking, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, weekend, yearly, or membership program, whatever it is, they get a code when they're en route to that location. Once they get to the location, they know the code, they punch in their code, they go in and they park. That's the way that security level does. Our top level security, which is what seems to be what's driving people to us, is our Atlanta high security truck parking locations. These locations are very rare. When I say rare, it's the rare in the way we operate. When a truck comes into that location, it's full-time security guards that come out and check you in. They ask for your driver's license. They even ask for my driver's license. It's part of their routine. They have to ask everybody for their driver's license and put it in so they know who's in the lot. The truck comes in, they take a picture of their driver's license. They actually take a picture of the driver and their cab, so they get a picture of the signage on the side of the truck. They tell them exactly where to park, but before they get further along, they are told if they have a full load, especially a high dollar load, they pull up a little bit. We put 3 commando locks on the back doors. These commando locks are pretty unique. They cannot be cut. So where you go in normally with your seal,
plastic seal,
which in my opinion deters nobody, and we put these 3 commando locks on the doors. They are uncuttable, very secure. You'll have an easier time cutting into the cab or from the trailer. You cannot get in because you can't cut those locks. And once that is done and the procedure is completed, they go and park. On the way out, the same thing goes on. Those locks are removed. Everything is de-escalated as they go out the door. Everything is high security.
And when you're looking to build as well, level 1, 2, and 3, is the biggest demand as you're expanding now for that high tier level 3, or is it kind of you start in a market with a 1 and then you kind of maybe I'll get another level 2? What's kind of the vibe at that?
I think that depending on the neighborhood and the area, if you're in downtown Atlanta, in the worst part of Atlanta, going to our high security locations, you're riding through neighborhoods that are not friendly. I mean, we've seen car chases and muggers and all kind of stuff going on. The great thing about it, when you go through that gate at storemytruck.com, it's like turning into Disney World. Everything is smooth and neat and clean, and they're in behind all the security, 7,000 volts of electricity on the fencing. It just has everything very well lit. And the great thing about parking at Storemytruck in their secure locations, it gives you an opportunity to leave that location and feel safe and comfortable that your $150,000 load and your $1 million load inside that truck is safe and secure with all the security running around.
And talking about the cleanliness aspect, I think that's a big challenge for drivers because, I mean, we even have to have legislation to try to allow them to use restrooms at a shipping facility. So talking about that with your conversations with drivers, is there kind of like a bare expectation? Is this a surprising thing for folks? It's like, oh, this thing's clean for once.
Well, our facilities all have restrooms in all of them. Some of them are porta potties, depending on the electricity of those locations. All of them have restrooms. All of them have dumpsters. You can get rid of the things that are in your truck, clean your truck out. But some of our finer locations, like the Atlanta High Security Truck Parking, has the most beautiful showers.
Oh, wow.
They come in, they park, they want to take a shower. These facilities are clean and neat, and these restrooms are like, you've been to the Hilton Hotel, ceiling to floor tile, beautiful modern bowls, 10 by 10 big stall showers. They get everything at no charge just for visiting Storemytruck. We give you a towel, shaving cream, shavers, flip-flops to wear while you're in there, and you get to take these things home. We make zero on or take in no money for our showers, but we like that our customers use them. At that same location, there is a driver's lounge. You come in, watch 5 different television shows in that driver's lounge. There is a ping pong table, beautiful vending. It's got an internet cafe. If a person wants to get their mail there and they're only in town once a month, they can order a mailbox. If you have a dispatch company, we have offices for rent. So we do a little bit that we can do, everything we can do for the truckers.
So it's almost like a terminal. That's interesting because I'm thinking like for small fleets and owner-operators who do not have or they're from their house, I'd have problems with drivers in like Las Vegas, and they would park their trucks at like mall parking lots or a Walmart or something and hope that you don't get towed. So that's kind of the premium part with that level 3. You have those amenities and everything.
Well, I'm going to tell you, we have a location in Las Vegas, and we have locations all over the United States, just so you mentioned. We're near a lot of interstates, but just kind of give you an idea, we're heavy in Atlanta currently. We have locations all over North Carolina, South Carolina. We're starting to take over South Florida. We'll be heavy in Miami. We just bought several locations in Miami. We're in Jacksonville. We're in Alabama and Birmingham and Bessemer. We have opened several locations in Texas, Irving, Dallas, Fort Worth. We're in Las Vegas. We're in Oklahoma City, just opening a new location there. We just did a new location in Baltimore, and we're going to open these every single week. It seems like we're opening about 2 or 3 a week, and we're already the largest owner-operator of truck parking, but we are going to be mammoth. Our goal is to be the largest ever imagined. When I opened up in 2009, never had the idea we were going to get to this point where we're at 70-plus locations. But recently, I decided that we wanted to get to a larger level.
Yeah.
And so in order to do that, I wanted to take on a capital partner. A capital partner is Realized Truck Parking, Cody Horshack, and I got together, and he is just the yin for my yang, kind of the way we look at each other. He is a tech guy. He is a revenue helper. He's helping me build this business. He's my capital partner, And between him and I, and he's got about 12 or 14 locations, and we're opening more together now than ever. And we're doing this together, growing this thing to be the largest truck parking company and network ever imagined.
Well, I think the capital aspect's super important because from my experiences dispatching as well, the truck stops, the fueling stations oftentimes are providing an experience where you have to fuel. If you want to shower, you need to give me some fuel. So I'm still spending a few $100 with you because I have to like pay to play. With your locations, you're paying for the storage. You're allowing drivers to have a location they can come from when they're at home. Tell about the technology aspect as well, because I think that that's going to be an important thing for folks who are looking to use it and if they're interested. How does that work, and what did the integration and the partnership bring to the table in terms of that technology?
Well, let me start with that. One question before, which people ask me, how do you find Storemytruck? How do you find your locations? Well, all you have to do is go to the website at storemytruck.com and find us, or Realize Truck Parking and find us. We're easy to find. We're in every city. When you find us, you go to our website and you just order truck parking. You might want to have hourly because you got a few hours to lay over. Or you may want to be there for a day. We don't do overnight. We do 24 hours. Some truck parking companies do it like a hotel. We don't. You come in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you have till 3 o'clock the afternoon the next day. 24 hours. So we do it a little bit different. Then we have weekly. You can stay for a whole week. We have a lot of specials that go on. For example, 7 days for the price of 6, or a weekend where we give a certain amount off for a weekend. We have weekday, we have weekend, we have monthly. And one of the things that we have that nobody's ever thought about is both in membership. That means if you have a load in North Carolina at one of our locations at Charlotte, and you decide you want to park in Charlotte, you can. It would be part of your membership, but you can actually plan your loads based on where we are. Pick out the best load you can find. Pick out the most high-paying load. Maybe that load is going to Fort Worth, Texas, and we have a site there, and plan on parking there that night, because from there you can pick out another load somewhere. Maybe you're going to Las Vegas and plan your next load to Las Vegas because that load is a high-dollar load. And so you can plan your route one after the other in order to, benefit yourself.
Does the membership allow me, so let's, do you sell, I'm assuming like I can pay per month and I have access to different locations, or do I need to,
That membership program allows you to have access to all our locations paying a membership.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So if I'm a fleet and I have a small fleet of drivers, that gives them that peace of mind. I'm already paying a monthly fee, and then that covers if they're heading home for the weekend, they're heading out, they're looking to shut down. All of that's included. Does it also matter by tier and level? So if I want to have like level 3, does my membership be different than just the level 1, or?
You can park however you want. Yeah. And the great thing about our tech is you can change it anytime you want. You self-manage your own account. You're able to, although we have 24-hour customer service and we can help you, you can plan whatever you want to do. If you want to add 15 trucks to your plan and park them all over, or just have one come in for a day, you can manage that just from your account in a 2-minute span. You could change anything you want on our program. How many you have, you want to reduce them, you want to add them, or where you're parking, or what type of vehicle you're parking. Maybe you had just your power units. Now you've taken on a new account that's tractor and trailers. You could change those to a combo in just 2 minutes and change them however you want to for your account, and we'll bill you accordingly.
What about brokerages and non-asset based? Because I know that was one of my challenges back when I became a freight broker. I got around, by the way. But that was one of the issues, was I needed a secure location if I had a problem, but it wasn't for necessarily me. It was for someone I was working with. How would that work if you don't have the assets?
Well, the great thing is if you're moving something around and you don't have trucks and trailers, you know people that are moving your stuff. You can suggest, come to Storemytruck, park your asset over at Storemytruck. It's a safe, clean place. That's where we want you to use.
Can I transload? If I bring in a crew, can I bring in a crew to transload, or if I have like something and I need to swap trailers, is that possible?
So a lot of people use our lots as drop lots, so they bring them in and out, or they back one up after they let us know what's going on in security, and they can load on and off.
And I'm kind of curious, do you see a lot having these locations, looking at driver behavior? Are there a lot more drivers that frequently come in on the weekends, or are they using them as like a smaller terminal? What's kind of the
Great
behavior?
question. Great question. So everybody uses our lots for different things. The majority of our customers are looking for a safe place to park near their home. So their car, their Honda Accord might be there most of the time, and they come in with their truck, they move their Honda out of their space, they back their truck up to the same spot, and they leave back and forth whether they're in their car or their truck. But the majority of people are monthly in our company. I would say 80% or 75% of all our clients are monthly parking near their home.
I think that's one of the cool things, because a lot of times when we talk about the challenges of truck parking and even surveys, it's usually, well, the ones out on the road for 3 to 4 weeks at a time are having acute issues, and then the ones who are, it's two different customers almost, the ones who are home nightly versus the ones who are out on the road. So do you get for the spots, like if I'm getting this thing, do I have a designated spot with like Thomas's name on it, or once I'm in as a member, I just like keep my car as kind of like a holdover? Or?
I like that question. So you have a couple of choices. First off, we never overbook. So whether or not you're parking in space number 6 or space number 66, it's going to be the same size space, and we never overbook. That is if you're not going to reserve your space with your car. I'd say a good bit of our customers drive their car in and pull their truck out, so that car is reserving that space. We do not stand there and supervise whether or not space number 6 is reserved. We make sure you have a great place to park every time you come.
And looking back to, being in the game since 2009, what were some of the biggest surprises as you were building the company? Was there anything that kind of stood out? You mentioned the zoning challenges, but, as you're looking back on it from here to now, I like to ask people this because technologies over the past 5 years have changed. What are some of the big trends you're seeing?
Well, first I want to say this. Our truckers love us. And I think that's the reason why they come back over and over. The trend is this. If you give them a great place to park and a safe place to park and a comfortable place, and the driver comes first, and that's what we do, the driver comes first, then they're going to come back.
So it's like word of mouth almost.
Correct. So we're a family-owned business. That means Storemytruck started, my daughter, my son, they're in the company, my wife works for the company. The people that work for us are like family also. They've been working for us, for some of them as long as 15 years, that started with me. So I just want to tell you, and all of these people that work for us, they are phenomenal people. They care, they love what they do, and we love them.
I think that's cool. I've been being in venture, coming from a large organization in venture capital. You don't really see that a lot. You see people come in different waves, so it's hard to sometimes hold on to those kinds of employees. Anything in particular, like having folks that long, any cultural tips for folks who are like, man, I wish I could hold on to my people?
I think that we treat our people like kings. Yeah. I think we treat our ladies that work in the office like queens. We really treat our people well. We pay them well. We take care of them. And when you have that response in return, where they treat our customers like kings and queens, I think that's what our goal is to make sure that our customers are taken care of, just like we take care of our employees.
We got a little bit of time left. I have a far-out question for you. Parking and truck parking is one of the big things, real estate, but a lot of folks are now talking about truck ports for autonomous trucks. Have you considered, as you're having people truck parking, that also you would start opening up truck ports, and then you have kind of them?
So we will have electric ports for our locations, and we're opening these up and putting these outlets to be able to hook up these trucks to power. We're doing it now.
That's cool. Was there any surprises on that? Because I've heard with some folks, I've spoken with a few when you're building the ports, some like to put them next to facilities so they can get the existing infrastructure and the juice, and then others are saying, well, I got to get with the actual utilities. What's been those early thoughts as you're trying to work on that charger?
We're in the preliminary stage of it, so we are going through that now. Our goal is to have autonomous ports for all our locations. I will tell you one other thing. There's every aspect of truck parking. There's every aspect of logistics. Our goal is to bring you to us or bring us to you. And when I say that is if you have a lot that's beside your company, behind your logistics, behind your trucking company, contact Storemytruck or Realize. We want to turn that area into a revenue place for you. We can create a truck parking facility near you. Or if you know of some place near you that's open, a for lease sign, or you have a piece of property, contact Storemytruck at the end of this segment. Surely there'll be a way to get in touch with us, and hopefully we'll be able to contact you. We want to create truck parking in your backyard.
And you guys have the expertise as well. So it could be simple as I have a giant 5-acre lot. You all would provide the schematics. You would give the plan, and then you'd execute it. I wouldn't have to worry about that. I have the peace of mind. And then I get a little cut of it because now I'm helping out.
Well, we'll lease it. We'll buy it. We'll do whatever we need to do to grow and to help those areas that need truck parking so badly.
Coming into 2025, I know we've got about a minute-ish left here. Looking ahead, do you have a specific kind of a goal, or what are you most excited about? You guys are growing like one or two spots a week.
I'm going to tell you exactly the way I put it. We want to be the McDonald's and the Wendy's of truck parking all over the country. We want to be in your backyard.
Will you put food trucks in the parking? Will we have McDonald's one day?
Maybe. We do have a food truck court at our location in Atlanta at 2100 Jonesboro Road.
Perfect. Well, speaking of if folks want to reach out, is there a specific difference for signing up or getting involved in partnerships? What's the best way to get in contact?
Well, we do it every different way. We can do some sort of rev share or on just about any way. If you have a trucking company and you want your truckers to park on our lots in our areas, in areas that you're not in, contact us. We can do a number of ways. We can help you with a small revenue split or share. We can pass it on to your drivers by giving them a discount code in our program. We can do it any way you want to do it. We're wide open.
Perfect. Keith, thanks so much for your time as well. A lot of great information, and looking forward to checking it. Next time I check in with you, we're going to have to see how big the number got, because you guys are on a roll.
Absolutely. I hope the next time I see you, I'm at 200 or 300 locations.
Perfect. That's going to be a wrap for today's show. If you're just joining us here, we're going to be on demand, Apple, YouTube, Spotify. And there's a newsletter. I write one, Loaded and Rolling, freightways.com/loaded and rolling. Had to get the plug in, but check them out, storemytruck.com.
And we're here at F3. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Look at them at F3 as well. That's it for today. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you soon.